Hi, I'm Marlo from Wild Food UK. We're out foraging again. It's the 20th of May and it's a beautiful day. And we found some lovely plants. I've been wanting to do a video of these plants beside each other because I do think that when they're young, before they flower, they can look very, very similar. But then when they flower and go to seed, there's some obvious differences. So what we've got here is the very famous and extremely common Jack by the Hedge, or hedge garlic, or garlic mustard. It's a mustard. You can see these cruciform flowers here. I don't know if the camera can zoom in on those. Meaning that it's in the wider brassica family and edible, nice and simple. This is Alaria petiolata, and it's kind of the Marmite of the plant world in reality, because some people like it and then other people don't, and I fall into the latter group because we all have different palates. You know, we're all unique human beings, we've all got slightly different senses of smell, and we all get slightly different flavours from things. Now, the leaves of this, some people just get a nice mild flavour of garlic, sometimes followed by a bit of bitterness, but for me and my palate, when I eat the leaves, I get a mild flavour of garlic, and then followed by a strong bitterness, and then followed by the taste of paracetamol. It's quite awful, but when we teach groups, it's normally about 50-50. Half of the people on the groups will eat this and think, what's the problem? And then half of the people in the groups will eat it, and then after about 15 seconds pull a really awful face and spit it out very quickly, because paracetamol is not a nice thing to eat. Now, it's a plant that's white flowering, and it has these rounder leaves when it first starts off. I think it's a biannual, and then in its second year it grows these tall flowering stems with these sort of quite triangular leaves. And so does this plant. I'll get onto that one in a second though. There is one part of this hedge garlic, Jack by the Hedge, garlic mustard, that I really do like though. These are the seed pods. Now these are a bit young, they'll get a bit bigger, and the seeds inside will get a little bit bigger. And the flavour I get from the seeds is the flavour of Dijon mustard. So at the right time of year, when I find lots of this in seed, I'll happily pull these off and just strip the seeds out between my teeth. And they're lovely. It's a nice mild, sort of, as I said, Dijon type of mustard. Now, beside it, we've got another plant that looks very similar. See these leaves? Almost identical. So before it flowers, this plant and this plant are quite difficult to tell the difference between. But then when they flower, you see you've got these lovely pinky flowers. Again, cruciform. It's another mustard in the wider brassica family. This is Honesty, or moonwort, or Lunaria annua. And the leaves are edible, but I don't like the leaves of this really very much either. They're a little bit bitter. But what I do like, again, is these pennies. Gives it the name pennywort, but there's other plants that we call pennywort, wall pennywort in particular. These pennies, these are the things that you see in almost every dried flower collection. They dry out very, very well. Now, these pennies, the seeds inside, which again are going to get a lot bigger. If you hold it up to the light, you can see there's some seeds inside there. Now, if you take off the casing and you get out those seeds again make a really, really lovely mustard. So these plants are both really, really common. And if you like mustard, just go out and find some. You can make, like I said, with this one, quite a sweet Dijon mustard. These ones have got a little bit more bite to them, probably a little bit more like an English mustard. I love mustard though, so I'm happy with either. Two plants that look similar, that you will find absolutely everywhere in the country. So no excuse now not to go out and find some for yourself. There's not much more to say about them really. The leaves of the Honesty do get slightly bigger. You can see this leaf here. I very rarely see Jack by the Hedge with leaves this big. And certainly in its first year, or the young leaves, you wouldn't really mistake this for Honesty, because they're much rounder than the leaves that we get from Honesty. So Jack by the Hedge and Honesty, two great plants to make your mustards out of. If you want to find out more, go to www.wildfooduk.com.